And hello folks, it's Kamikaze here to bring you Suzerain, another game from the Humble Bundle of April of 2022. Again, thank you, Mr. Who is this, for providing me all of this glorious year subscription to this. Let's just reduce the music volume here. And then it'd be really loud on my end, so. I don't know anything about this game. I've started to take just like brief looks before I go too far in. So if I click here, store page. This game is a style of choose your own adventure, economy, and diplomacy. Yeah, that didn't help me. That didn't explain anything to me. I don't know if it's gonna be a game that's gonna be my style, but we're gonna find out anyway. Let's go with new game. And for some reason, it's April and it snowed today and it's below freezing. Which I don't know why, out of all days, to do this. So I'm all like wrapped up. You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh, burning like the raw summer night. You are my country. Emphasis on cunt. Tree. What? Where'd you go? Game crashed. Try this again. Interesting. Start up. Yeah, I don't care if it's unable to sync. Yeah, that's fine by me. I don't know what happened. Wait for program to respond. Alright, so now we're back in. Which is odd. Make your decisions carefully. You will not be able to load an earlier save. Interesting. So your choices are final, which... Damn it. Choose your own adventures, where you're like, oh, I have my finger on the last page. I didn't make my final decision. Resume? I didn't even start... Oh, whatever. You know what? Let's go with that. Resume. (1908), the Kingdom of Swordland. You open your eyes to this world. You came from a wealthy family in the city of Lakshman. A middle-income family or impoverished. You know, I'm wealthy. I'm rich. Yeah, that's me. I got $3 in my bank account. Your parents named you Anton. As the only child of a successful businessman, you had a chance to grow up a wealthy family. Life was easy at first, and you had the best education money could afford. After things inside the Rain family changed due to the absence of your father. This affected your mother and you negatively. The years passed. The end. That was loud. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Swordland was born. You did not fully understand. You were happy that you had the day off. You were somewhat worried. I did not fully understand. After graduating, you passed the university exams with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You chose... So, right now, what, I'm 15 years old? I guess. Economics. I died. During the first year, you attended a lecture with David Whiskey. He was a well-known diplomat from a foreign ministry and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why market economy is better option for Swordland. He argued for a system where prices for goods and services are determined by the open market. Agreed to the principal, you questioned what you were being taught. Your only concern was passing the exam. I agreed with the principal, I think. I don't know. I've never understood a whole lot of it. The coup of 27. Soldiers entered the campus evening ahead of the first election. Many were in shock as uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering in protest along with your best friend, Peter Vectern. You decided to protest! We're against whatever you're not. One of the officers made a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Ludgren has declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You join the students that slowly march toward the large group of soldiers. Suddenly, the soldiers charged, killing us all. A student fell and was trampled as everyone started running away. You held your ground or you ran off? Well, if I've gone this far, I'm going to hold my ground. This is where we die! Or we hold them. I mean, what? The soldiers beat you relentlessly. It was a gloomy year. October 10th, 1927. The majority of the students and teachers displayed their opposition. Thus, Lockhaven became the target for a military regime. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join the Human Rights Group, Student Council, or a political debate group. So far, I'm really not interested in this game. This is like the information type of stuff that I'm just not... My brain doesn't... decides not to follow, you know? Human Rights Group. A group heavily protested against the deteriorating human rights situation in Swordland. You contribute in thorough discussions on how to protect and expand freedoms. In one of the meetings, Peter introduced you to one of his friends, Monica, who volunteered for the Swordish League of Women. You were immediately attracted to her intelligence, her beauty, her diligence. Her brain. I need brains, because I have none. The politically charged environment led you to join the Red Youth, Socialists, Nationalists. I would stay away from any political organization, I guess. Because I don't know one or the other. The radio relayed that the communist general Rickard surrounded Ludgren and his troops, demanding their surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. And Swordland plunged into chaos. I'm really not... Like, okay, this... Is there more to this than just choose your own adventure? I mean, as I said, it's not like there's anything really wrong with it. It's just I'm curious on if there's... a This is not my style of game at all. But I'm going to give it a chance. Going to go further into it if I can. Wars made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. The chaos must end. Charismatic Colonel Tarkin Sol orchestrated a sudden coup and brought the end of the chaos. He wrote into Constitution, restored stability. People saw him as a savior. He formed the United Swordland Party and ran the presidential candidate in the first ever elections. You voted United Swordland. You did not vote. I'm sorry, I'm a non-voting felon. I stole a cheese Danish as a child. Sure, let's vote. Why not? USP won the election by a large majority. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was time to serve your national duty. So I didn't get married, I ended up going to war. Yep. A devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring country, Wayland whatever. Distinguished Major Losif Lancia ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was very cold in the night. Our Portuguese gunmen you could see your breath. For several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source. The squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. I didn't see anything. After patrol, Major Lindsay arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you a disappointment. Yep. One of your squad members had reported your actions. After several months of scrubbing the floors as punishment, your duties ended and you went back to a civilian life. You know what? I'm fine with that. You know what? Screw you. Refugees. People who need help. That's what a refugee is, right? The ones who want to escape the bad. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holsarn. During the same year, you worked to secure a high-paying job at the governing United Swordland Party. It was much more difficult to start your career on good foot because of the refugee incident, but you still managed. Working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. The financial compensation was too great to pass up. What? It was the best opportunity to change the country for the better. Well, that would be what I want to do. You became the economics assistant of one of the more experienced members of the assembly. You worked long and hard. That's what she said. Staying late at work investigating hundreds of pages of economic reports. You were climbing the ladder. Soul strengthened the Republic by removing institutions and symbols of the former kingdom of society. Things were also looking up for the country as a massive economic boom continued, and people were the happiest they had been in a decade. Election time came around and it was decided. President Tarkin Sol was elected once more. The new 5-year plan and the subsequent work regarding finances put you under a lot of pressure, but your significant contribution to the economic strategy triggered an invitation to meeting with President Tarkin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of the assembly. Sure, I'll take it. As the youngest MP, I don't know what MP means. Military personnel. It was difficult to connect with your influential inner circle. You needed allies. You brought Peter as your right-hand man. The birth of your son, Frank, provided a brief moment of joy and relief. I sacrificed work to spend time with my family. Fuck work. Family better. During your absence, Peter found trustworthy contacts and strengthened your position in the party. At the same time, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the party. The cracks began to show until they pulled their pants up. President Sol barely secured a majority of the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls for United Swordland Party Congress became louder as leadership struggle began to brew. If he's becoming a bad leader, I'm joining the internal opposition. You gave support to Elwin Alfonso, a reformist and talented business magnate, who is the main contender for the party leadership. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one, but he didn't approach you. The party Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United Swordland were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for the party leadership has begun. Go Ewald! The efforts bore fruit, as contentious leadership vote was won by Ewald Alfonso. During the Congress, Sol announced his retirement from politics. You knew the structure he had established was to stay. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. Authoritarian? Didn't care about who was in charge. I was happy because he was becoming bad. A month later, your daughter was born. So wait, where was my son born? No idea. Monica named her Dina. She motivated you a tumultuous period in the party. The general elections were approaching. Blah, blah, blah. You joined the party, campaigned for him. During the general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary. He was replaced by a strong opposition figure, Franz Richter, but the damage had been done. The extensive privatization program proposed by old Alfonso secured an election victory for the United Swordsman Party. Over the years, I want to make it a better place. I would rather make Swordland a better place if that was like, if this is how options were. The presidency of Ewald Alfonso saw many bold reforms, but was followed by a serious economic recession. The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair system hampered all opposition and efforts to win. Thought that your party could not survive another crisis. We're worried about the economic recession. Worried that your reputation would be... I don't give a crap about my reputation. I'm more worried about the economic recession. Together with Peter, the presence of the USB grew and you became the face of the new wing in the party. You effectively took over leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make a move had come. You... What? I'm just going to advise him to step down. I'm not going to blame him. And I'm not going to bribe either. He didn't take your advice seriously and started to reshuffle his cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. Your diplomatic attitude made the party vote you as the leader. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president in the general public election with Peter as your running mate. It was your turn. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to preserve national values. Great nation of Swordland, due to the incompetent leadership... Great. I was trying not to be like that, you know, like, oh, they're fucking morons, you know? Enemies both internal and external are influencing our glorious nation. Today, more than ever, we need to unite under one flag and protect our values. Gracie Swordland. The broadcast ended. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It's time to face the truth. You were assassinated 3 days later. Prologue, Rise to Power. Chapter 1, President Reign. Reign A. Wow. Interesting choices of facial hair. Nope, with the bowler hat. Looking like a gangster. I don't need hair. Keep my wife's name out of... Keep my boyfriend's dick out of your mouth. What? I didn't say anything. Tire. Sure. Accessories. That way I can keep my secret identity. Background. Is there any blue? That's a blue. Sure, why not? Turquoise. Done. Anton Reign. You will not be able to change how the President Reign looks from this point forward. Are you sure? No. As Anton Reign, you've made many promises to the people, blah, 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 blah. They must be considered very carefully. Economy. Swordland's economy has been based and planned on a doctrine since formation for a resident, like the free market reforms. Now, the country itself is between two different economic systems. Promote free market, because that's what I was wanting, right? diplomacy. The West, communist control. The East is opening a new diplomatic possibility. Swordling could take itself to a line closer to one. Well, I don't want to go with communists to the West, so I'm going to go with East. Immigration. In the recent years, West unduly immigrants flocked to Scotland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by Edward Alphonse. As a result, tension between swords and immigrants have been increasing. I'm going to say keep immigration relaxed. Term focus. We have promised to focus certain extensive subjects with our team. People expect us to resolve native situations with a topic about all the overall improvement to the related policies. Health, education, law enforcement, and military. Quality between rural hospitals has been getting increasingly worse. The average life expectancy has dropped. The lack of schools, teacher, and even classroom equipment in certain areas causes massive gaps in the previously robust education system. It's only going to give me one choice in this. Oh, so we have promised to focus on a certain extensive thing. You know, I think education would be good. Alright. 2 weeks have passed since we won the election. You were assassinated. And I was about to be sworn in as the 4th president of Swordland. Thousands were watching the inauguration ceremony and cheering my name. Anton Rain! Anton Rain! The die was cast. And I bet you're wondering how I started this. The distance. The Maroon Palace stood on top of a famous hill of pride. I had no way of knowing what future awaited me there. I looked at my family, my son and daughter, Frank and Dina. Or is it Deanna? We're next to Monica, my wife. Her eyes were glimmering with pride. Then I turned toward the key people who made it all possible. Of course, each individual was promised an important position in my cabinet. That intro to this game was so long with all those decisions. As my thoughts slowly faded away, the reality of the situation dawned on me. Orso Hawker, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was waiting for me. The time for the oath has come. I am ready, and it has indeed. Let's start. I am ready. I'm ready. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. Oh, I don't get a choice. That I will respectfully execute the office of the President of Swordland, and to the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend. Made a love inauguration speech. It is an honor. Brothers and sisters, my fellow swords, dear citizens of Swordland, change you, the people, have chosen. Together, we will bring prosperity and reform to our nation. It is a time for hope. It is a time of change. In the past, there have been times of survival, times of conflict, and economic hardships too. But whenever we stood together, we prevailed. Thing finished downloading. Let's see. I thought I had an achievement for a second. Future awaits us. It's time to face. Turn our faces to the east. Wait, to the east. Wait. Okay, so is the sunrise over there? To the east. We rewrite a broken constitution. Now, I don't want to like be an ass. The future awaits us. It is time to turn our faces to the east. Our capacity of a nation has never been greater. Hundreds of thousands cheered. They were shouting my name in unison. I felt the responsibility, the power, and the burden all at the same time. I had a heart attack and died. The end. Raise my fist. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to wave and be like, hi, guys. Hi. I took a long look at the people of Swordland to burn this moment into my memory. One of the presidential guards came by to notify that it was time to leave. I made my way to the leading car in the motorcade. The presidential state car was a jet black Cadilla with flags of Swordland above the front headlights. Next to it, a man holding the door. Let me guess, my friend Peter? Oh, Sergei Volkner. Hello, Mr. President. Still under the effect of the speech I made, hearing my new title made me smile. If you allow me to introduce myself, I am Sergei, your new driver. Oh, nice to meet you, Sergei. It is an honor. He respectfully bowed his head before opening the car door and gesturing inside. I entered the car. We will be heading toward the Polaris. The motorcade began to move. On the way, Sergei proceeded to explain his duties as a driver. As the minutes passed by, I found myself lost in thoughts again. Barely paying attention to what he was saying, he suddenly made a gesture toward the now closer palace. Isn't it a beauty? It's the Maroon Palace. He was right. Sunlight glinted off of the palace's many maroon-colored domes. It was so bright that I had to look away. Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duty to this nation. So I'm guessing he's been like a driver for a while, so I shouldn't have to worry too much. It is in good hands now. So do I, Sergei. It is the beating heart of the nation after all. We all owe a great debt to the man who led the country from here. I mean, honestly, it is just a building. But to people, it may stand for, like, hope. Well said, Mr. President. The car drove past the majestic gates, continued uphill to the entrance, and stopped in the front of the doors. Sergei got out of the car and opened the door for me. Have a great day, Mr. President. A Morgna Westkor. He referred to the famous Swedish phrase of the times of revolution, a Morgna Westkor, Verton Sisda, which meant morning will come, victory is close. Verton Sisda. I made my way upstairs through the extravagant corridors of the palace. Marble and engraved wooden finishes decorated the interior. My footsteps echoed up the colossal halls. The guards bowed their heads in respect as I opened the massive doors to my new office. What the heck kind of game is this? When I saw it and saw the name was Suzerain, the only thing I could think of is Shank has had me play Civilization 6 a lot with him. And all I think of is like a Suzerain, like I get bonuses for having more people and becoming the Suzerain of a place. Kingrick of Rumberg. Republic del Swordland. I feel like I'm looking at my desk intently like this is a map. These are 3D printed pictures, or pieces. Oh my god, this is gonna have way more information than my brain can process. All I've done is reading up until this point for the last half hour. Alright. Read the report. The mayor of Horseland reports that the rising population and the fast urban expansion result in high levels of congestion in city traffic. The logistic reports underline increasing traffic and slowing transportation routes as the biggest problems in the capital. The mayor has also reported the absence of a well-designed large land group and logistics center, and all the transporters come together in one of the greatest problems in domestic transporters. Because Holtzlord is the big metropolis, transporters are scattered all over the Horseland, having established centers in 10 different districts. What does that mean? I have traffic problems? I need bigger city because traffic. General staff gathers. The general conveyed that right after the election to congratulate the victory, all the branches of the Sword Armed Forces represented in the meeting took place in the camp strongwind with massive security measures. The chief of the armed forces, Valker Kruger, made the public press statement highlighting the increasing chances of the military confrontation in the eastern Murkopa of the requested support to strengthen the military. Okay. So, is that like, oh, that is like, things. Well, no, don't click there. do we have here? Briefing. So I need to read these for the reports. Oh. The latest marine traffic reports show that the Portable is no longer the busiest of the Mercury continent, falling behind in third position, while the negative indicator of our administration has still the potential to be trying to work to drain the center. Port of Lebanon is the largest port in the Swordland and holds enormous importance for the economy, particularly the main distribution center for linking the capital of the inner parts of Swordland to the rest of the world. This major port city will hopefully be supporting possible economic upturn. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Oh my god, all this reading. This is not my style of game. I mean, I'm good with numbers, but reading doesn't help me. Many words confuse me, numbers don't. The mayor of Everton, the lack of adequate infrastructure seriously undermines the attractiveness of Arvory investment climate. More investors in a city, meanwhile, to publish the National Business Council, around 90% of the totals come to the advantages and argument and absorb the logistic costs, while it appear regions of the far figure of this figure drop below as 10%. And you, low levels of productivity of growth in Ireland. There are also high rates of food insecurity, malnutrition, and rural poverty. Okay, this is something I can understand easy. This place has a problem with food. It needs food. What's this? Congratulations. From the Prime Minister, Alvarez. Congratulations for having spoken about his hopes and beneficial partnership and deal in the future. He says the best person to sort people. Alright, so now that I've clicked all of those things, wait, what's this? Oh, these are just congratulations. Election. As opposed to the earlier trade deals which he believed gave Swordland unfair advantages. Well, I like my unfair advantages sometimes. Wait, warned us? I only skimmed that. Let's just continue on. Briefing the current economic situation. Oh, it gives me a codex. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is too much. Do you think such an advanced area is in more need of investment than England? It's too much reading. This is too much reading. I'm like, my eyes are glossing over with all these words now. Simon Hall. What's the debate about? Internal economic strategy. Disagreement. Let's begin the presentation. Would you enlighten me? We can't reap financial benefits. In a region, well, I just take buildings in order to contribute to the economy more. Instead of developing the region and serving the people. Yes, well, that's to make money, but I would rather, like, serve the people. England is our weakest region. Okay, wait, England. That's the area. Okay, that's the area where it's saying that there was a problem with food and stuff. They need support. They need help. It does need investment. I agree. England needs investment. And I agree with both of them. England needs our investment, and we can prove greater wholesale and Glusson. Yep. Well, I wanted to avoid this topic now since we need time. And still talk about it in the future, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. I just want you to understand that I want all of our people to have food. Pulled out a silk handkerchief out of his pocket, wiped his glasses. He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants at the door. Oh, you can put that there. Bah, bah, bah. Leave now. I mean, thank you, and please leave now. Assistants left the cabinet. Looking through his slides, he always get carried away. Documentation. With we need to wait. Simon, what happened to the new police station construction in Estor? While going through this, please pause for a moment to answer. Government property boundary issue. Eyes glittered when he finally found slides he was looking for. Oh my god, as much as I'd like to read all of this would take forever. Resulting in the collapse of value of currency, yeah, we get that. Since economics is your forte, Mr. Rain, is it possible that you might be aware of the data? So explain the economic situation in better detail. Well, what about our employment inflation rate? Skyrocketed, now staggering 16%, and the inflation is relatively high of 7%. Could be far worse, but we need to make that better. Employment is increasing and is increasing crime and drug use, yes. Oh, I guess I can get all the information. 310 billion. Debt is... That's not good. That is ridiculous. What about the recession? There's about 6% of the past year in DVD of the... Until now, the administration stopped. This gets into way more information than I ever want to process while playing a game. Unless I want to sit here and play this game for like hours with calculators and tax books next to me. All right, so let me make this. I want to make decisions. I got information. Let me make decisions. Situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. Blah blah blah. One's left us with a budget surplus. Okay, so we have a budget surplus. That's good. Happened in the 30s. Alternative privatization in the 40s. Focus on one of our main programs, free market. Stop the recession. Yes. Still not support it. Well, you can go suck it, Graph. What are the consequences of a free market? World economy is fine. Well, yes. This graph, this bitch right here is probably just in it for money. Recession, either way, if we pick one of the doctrines, we retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis. That's good. Well, you can shove it because you're just really, like, we need to stabilize our country before we make any other decisions. One important point, which is direct impact to our economy. Superpowers. We might have won the election, but I am still against aligning ourselves with the superpowers. Economically speaking, we aren't as tied to the Unite Cortana as we are to... God damn. If these things are made up, then that's great and all. If they're not made up, that's great and all. I don't follow it either way. Be very cautious. Schemes advised Swordland and their want of power... I want you to reconsider your promise to align. I don't want to align with communists. Isn't it like something about communism never works out, no matter what? The revolution that was started by... No, I won't back down from my promises. If I made promises as a president, I'm going to keep my promises till the end. If they were a bad decision, that's all on me. But I'm not going to just change my mind because some people think it's not going to work well. Unless I know, like, it's going to fail. Like, if I look at it now and it's like, oh shit, I forgot to carry the 1. We're doomed if I do this. I would bring it up to people and go, I screwed up. I must also insist, nothing good will come out of siding with United Contana, aligning with them may make us adversaries to Arcasia, a much more influential nation in... I don't give a crap. Well, not for the same reasons. That's the 2 things we are agreeing on today, Gus. When the time comes, I hope you make the right decision for our own good. My god, I was trying to look for, like, a point where I could, like, end this. Legal documents outline possibilities of both economic doctrines. Alright, so we have to thank Sol for his planned economy, where the boom clearly shows the success of the system. Let's finish what Alphonse started with the capitalist free market reforms. We want to enrich sword. Would free market bring us stronger allies? I mean, I'm actually curious. It would make the people that may be bad against us. The world economy is extensive. Our economic strategy can be based on internal reasoning. No. Well, I'm gonna go with the free market. The recession was a direct result. History must note that the reason for the recession was because Edward Alfonso was betrayed by his party. There was plenty of time for him to do it. If you can't make the change happen in 2 years, then you are at fault. Screw you, Graf. I really hate this person. Can I fire them? What's our long-term schedule? Picking a construction company, trade relaxations, tax reform. Okay, let's move on. Final thoughts? Critical institutions must remain in state control. I don't want privatization. I mean, it's hard to fully agree or disagree with these options, but I've got to make a decision here. Yeah, a market economy. Free market as planned. I'm not changing what I promised. I don't give a crap. If I promised one thing, I'm not going to give another. Shut it, Graf! I hate you, the Ministry of the Interior. You've been nothing but a pain in my ass this entire conversation. And who are you, Linnaeus? Oh yeah, it's her. Of course you look displeased. Disperse for lunch at the Maroon Palace. See, I want to help England because we have people there that need help. What is this? Oh my god, this is too much for my brain. I mean, out of curiosity, so I'm actually tabbing out here. I'm gonna do how long to beat. How do you spell it? Suzerain. Suzerain. Wait, where did my window go? Where did my window go? Oh, there we go. Wow. So the average playtime is 9.5 hours. And I'm already like an hour into this. I am definitely not going to, like, complete that. Holy crap balls. Um, Doink. My brain is like coming back into reality here. This game is, I mean, this is probably, I know quite a few people who would actually love this kind of game, and I wish I could give them this key, but I've already used it. Uh, yeah, this game is available on Steam for $14.99. It looks like it is ridiculously in depth with the choose your own adventure type of information. Uh, and I mean, as you can see, the kind of leader I would be is like if I made a promise and I would try and do everything I can to hold myself to the promise. And this lady can go suck an egg right up her butt. Um, but yeah, so thank you again, Mr. Who Is This, for providing me a year's subscription to the Humble Bundle. This was from April 2022. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Other than that, I will catch you all in the next game I play. Huh. Tools.